Good morning. This is Mira Business FM. My name is Tim Elliott, in for Inzamam Rashid, just for this week. And in this hour, we're going to be talking travel on the show. In particular, I guess really how to do it best is probably the way to encapsulate this. Travel's been a leading travel agency in Dubai for over 20 years. What they try to do is to take the stress out of the situation. You let an account manager know where you need to go, when you need to go. They do all the work. That's kind of basically the idea. And with me is Basel Abu Alrub. He's the managing partner. Basel, great to have you here.
Thank you, Tim.
Very nice to meet you. Now, we're going to focus on helping, I guess, travelers to enjoy hopefully a smoother, maybe a more meaningful escape, whether you're going to relax, you're going for the culture of the destination, or maybe some adventure. But let's first of all talk about travel. You've been around for 20 years, and the floor is yours. Tell us the story.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, we've uncovered a gap in the market 20 years ago, and we wanted to do travel better. I was going to say slightly better, but hopefully we're going to do it a lot better. And
always use superlatives, Basil. That's the key, isn't it? I know. Just 10% every year better or cumulative over 20 years is a good time. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, and we got licensed by IATA, and we wanted to focus on the traveler as well as the experience of the booker. So sometimes the traveler is not the same person as the person who's booking the trip.
For sure.
Sometimes, if it's a business trip, for example, it could be your secretary or your personal assistant. We wanted also to focus, of course, on the traveler himself or herself, and by also making sure that you're not overpaying for your travel, whether it's business or leisure, and that you're getting there in the most in the smoothest way possible. So we geared up our teams. We hired the right people for this job. We divided our departments so that everybody is specialized in one thing. So if you're an airlines ticketing person, you're an airlines ticketing person. If you're a hotel specialist, you're a hotel specialist. And we even have a specialized department just for visas, as well as for chauffeuring. So if you need a car to pick you up, to stay with you anywhere in the world. So we've done that, and over the past 20 years, we've accumulated vast knowledge as well as good technology in the back end to help smoothen our operations. And we developed a good product overall to help companies as well as individuals.
Sure. I mean, the thing is with services like this, I want to ask you how you got to it in a minute, but services like this, just as an observation, this is kind of a proof is in the pudding thing, isn't it? So if somebody has a great experience with you, books, everything goes smoothly, the chauffeur's there on time, and you're really looked after, that's how you get repeat business. So the pressure is always on you, isn't it, to perform? You've really got to be there.
Yes,
I can see in your eyes, you're like, I know.
We say amongst us, our colleagues and industry colleagues, that this is a thankless job. So when things go well, you don't hear anything, and that's a good thing. And when things don't go so well, you're always to blame.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's still a very human-centric business. What most people in this day and age don't understand is that, yes, even if you booked your travel online, using an online aggregator or any of these services, at the end of the day, it's human beings who are affecting your booking, who are issuing your ticket, human beings who are driving you from the airport to the hotel, human beings who are checking you in or keeping your room clean. It's still a very human-centric business, and a lot can go wrong, but also a lot can go right, and there's a lot of pleasant surprises on the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a mission critical thing, isn't it? If it's a holiday, or even if it's just a weekend break, it's something you've booked, you're looking forward to, you want it to go well, and hiccups are kind of magnified, I suppose, aren't they, for a lot of people, if and when they happen?
Yes, especially if there's a high anticipation, you're waiting for this trip for a long time, and you're very, very excited. when things do go not as anticipated, there's a huge level of disappointment, obviously. And it's very easy to fall into a negative kind of thinking pattern, or try not to make the best out of things. Hopefully, in this day and age with today's technology, a lot has improved in terms of making sure that things don't go wrong and things are sort of on time. Just if you look at the flight data, for example, most airlines have significantly improved their departure and arrival timings so that they're not so late. Connections are not being missed as much. Aircraft downtime, lost baggage and luggage has also significantly decreased in terms of rates.
Yeah.
So all of these things in terms of performance has increased. We're living in a very comfortable time for travel right now. Whether it's ease of booking, the actual journey itself, and the outcome of it is more positive than, let's say, 20 or 30 years ago. Even 10 years ago. The ease of airport going in and out, biometric use, security, checks, all of these things have become very, very easy, so that the stress is taken away and you can just focus on the moment. Even the offerings at the airport themselves, your holiday starts at the airport before you even get on the plane, from the shopping to the eating to the just the amount of variety that you have. It's become so much fun to travel.
It's markedly better than it was. It's a funny thing, this. I was thinking about this before I met you. Now, I've got two kids, and my son, very often I'll say to my son, if we're going on holiday in the summer, I say, can you book it? Because it goes mad. It's not the way my brain works when it comes to booking lots of different flights, looking at destinations, looking at connections, looking at the best way to do it, comparing prices. That's just not me. And he's one of those people who thinks maybe a little bit more mathematically and likes doing it. He's fine. My wife is fine. My daughter's fine. I'm maybe the idiot on the side. But I kind of like, and I kind of look back to the days, and I don't think this is just an age thing. I think it's just a mentality thing of sitting with a travel agent and looking at different things. I always feel that they're the professionals. They can do it. And I love the idea of being able to go to somebody like you, a one-stop shop, and say, look, I want to do this. I'd like to try this. Can we do this? That's kind of what you try to do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And over the past few years, we've launched a leisure service called Jovial Travels, and we focused. First, we started focusing on the Maldives, and then we expanded to other destinations, which have, as you mentioned earlier, more substance, in terms from whether it's culture or just from an experience perspective.
Sure.
So places like Zanzibar or Sri Lanka, or South Africa. So we've looked at these destinations initially, so that we know exactly what we're offering. So that when you come to me as Tim, and you give me a little bit about your background and what is it that you're seeking to travel? Is it just a short trip? Is there a specific purpose behind it? Is it something that you want? Are you seeking a transformative kind of trip, or are you seeking a trip where you just want to just eat great food all the time, or you want to just relax on the beach and do nothing after a stressful year? And we take that and we tailor something according to that kind of, I would say, what's underneath, what's deep within you that you desire, that you're seeking.
Do you feel like a real need to? I mean, again, in terms of a personal relationship thing, this is good, I guess. When you consider repeat business, etc. But is that personal relationship something that you hold very dear with your customers?
Well, coming from a corporate environment, yes, because we have a handful of clients and they're big companies, right? So they sign a contract with us and they're just repeat customers on a daily basis sometimes, So cultivating personal relationships is in our culture, and it's yes, we are cultivating a relationship with companies on the surface, but there's people, human beings behind these companies. There are people who are signing the agreement. There are people who are making the payments. There are people who are making the bookings on behalf of the people who are traveling. Take that same mentality and apply it to individuals. People like you and I traveling on a holiday with our family or by ourselves. And yes, there is that kind of repertoire, the rapport that is being built with these individuals who end up becoming lifelong customers. They keep coming back, and we started seeing them coming, for their first child's birthday, for a Valentine's trip, for their anniversary, and then they just know they have this personal relationship with you, and they know that you know them and you know what their vibe is like.
You see, I asked that for a particular reason, because I always feel in the world of online travel, it's easy. I mean, ostensibly, it's easy to book. I can go to a website, book a flight to wherever I want to go, within reason, financially, etc. And it is pretty straightforward. I did make myself out to be the idiot that can't do it earlier, but it is reasonably straightforward. But you do feel when you're booking online and you're using apps, there is a lack of personal experience there. And I think there's, from my own personal perspective, I like to sit and kind of see the whites of your eyes, if you like, and actually talk to somebody, because, empathy can't be replaced by a bot, can it? And if travel goes wrong, as you've already said, we tend to get the brunt of it, whether it's your fault or not, I would imagine as well.
Yes. Now, again, the amount of data that's been collected and presented to us as users online has improved and has helped. So even if you're going online and making your own personal research, I would assume, and you should probably rely heavily on user reviews. See, if you're looking at a specific hotel, the first thing that you want to see is the ratings, not the 5-star, 4-star rating by the government or the authorities, but by the users that have traveled. And how many people have left a review, how many positives, what kind of travelers are you looking at? Are they solo? Are they family? Are they business? Are they leisure travelers? And based on that, you sort of can come to an approximation as to whether this is the right fit for you as a hotel or a destination. Now, this is one way to do it, absolutely.
I think that's a good starting point, isn't it?
Yes, you should always,
do your research, as you would if you were looking for a bank account or investing. Exactly. But it's not everything, because for every great review, there's always going to be the really super negative one, and you've got to be able to pick and choose. But I think there's always a case for an overview, and I guess that's where you were going.
Yes, so even we rely on such data as agents, right? When we recommend something. So the first thing that I look at when I go to reviews is I look at the 1-star. I want to see the horrible things that people have said.
Okay.
That's the first thing that I sort the ratings based on the, starting from the lowest and then going to the highest. Gotcha. I guess it's human nature, number one, that you always want to kind of hear the gossip and the negative stuff first. But it's actually very, very important for me, because if I, for example, I'm seeking a place that is quiet, and I see a lot of negative reviews that the place that I'm looking at is very noisy, or is on a very noisy street, or next to a loud restaurant or a nightclub, for example, then that automatically X's it out for me.
Right.
If, for example, the negative reviews are about the hotel's Wi-Fi, like it has a very weak Wi-Fi, but I'm going on a holiday, so I'm not even bringing my laptop with me. I'm not going to be doing Zoom calls or anything like that. I don't care about the Wi-Fi. So then, for me, that's like, okay, if that's the worst thing, then I'm going there.
If you've got teenage children, that might not be the case.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You have to take that into consideration. Sure. So these are the things that we try to eliminate first, which is by understanding what you're looking for. If you're looking for a vibrant place to go, and I put you in I don't know, an area where this is like a purely yoga retreat in Zanzibar, then you're gonna, you're not gonna be happy too much. You're looking for a party, and then I send you to a yoga retreat. So it's important to understand your customer and what they're looking for. And sometimes the client doesn't really give you a good brief about what they want. You need to have a couple of conversations with them before you understand. And sometimes you need to have a couple of iterations of sending them some suggestions, and then them going, no, 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 no. And you understanding why are you rejecting these things? Is it a price issue? Is it a location? Is it something else? And then based on that, you kind of have to do it. So it is sometimes a kind of a difficult and time-consuming process for certain people, just to get the essence out of them. But then once you get to know them better, then it's like, that's it. It's very easy. And then they will come back to you because they know you. It's like your personal concierge type of thing.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's a reasonably, intense is probably slightly too strong a word, but there's a certain intensity to a process like that. But again, it goes back to you running a business where, I guess one of the founding principles in some ways to you, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but, know your customer is not just a compliance requirement, is it? It is a business requirement from your side in order to get that repeat business. That's a real, it's a real key for you.
Absolutely, and it applies on the individual level as well as on the corporate level.
Yeah.
So know your customer from a corporate perspective is also very, very important, because you need to know the preferences of the travelers and the preferences of the company itself. How does it want to conduct business? How does it want to for its data to be reported? How does it want to be invoiced? That's on the corporate side. But on the individual side, yes, KYC, as in like, I want to get to know you, better and know what you're looking for, so I know how to suggest what to suggest for you. And yes, that includes the usual suspects, like what is your budget? And funny enough, this is the most difficult question that you might ask them, because you rarely get a straight answer, especially if there's no trust.
Right.
Because if they tell you, and this rarely happens, but let's just give a wild example. If they tell you, I have an open budget, then they're afraid that they might be telling you, I don't care about money, so you can rip me off, kind of thing.
Have you had somebody say to you, our budget's open, we have whatever you want to...
Yes, in my 20 years, I've had that happen twice.
Okay. Was it true twice?
Yes, it was true, and we did some amazing things for them. They basically toured all of India, north and south, over the course of, I think, almost 25 or 30 days. It was incredible. It was incredible. It was just two people traveling.
And you tailored an itinerary, a full travel itinerary for two people. Yeah. No objections, no questions asked financially.
Nothing. Royalty. It was like they flew like royalty, and we did everything for them. The other one was they were coming into Dubai, and they had an open budget as well, and we did some spectacular things for them. It was during the Christmas and New Year's holidays, and we did some crazy stuff for them, like from the desert to the sea, to lavish private. No, they were old. They were old, very old clients. So, they had a young spirit, and they were very adventurous. Like we did dune buggying. Like we actually bought brand new buggies for them, and we shipped them on a trailer to where they were in the middle of the desert, where we set up a whole thing for them. Yeah. It was amazing.
Very nice work. Look, we're going to take a break in a minute or so, but and I want to come back and talk to you about techniques and the tech that you employ to create these itineraries. But give me an idea. We mentioned very briefly at the start when things go wrong, and without mentioning any names, I don't want to put you on the spot or put any people on the spot. But does anything stand out where you've thought, oh, this is not the best day to be in this industry? Is there a particular instance you could share?
Yes, it happens. It happens quite a bit, but not in this intensity. But there's always a feeling where you're like, um, it's regrettable that my client is feeling this way.
It's not necessarily your fault. There's no blame.
I was just gonna
here.
get to that.
I'm not, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just interested in those moments where you think, "Oh, that shouldn't have happened."
Yeah. When you hear that a client missed their connecting flight,
Right.
When you hear that a client, but there is always like that sense of. There's always that sense of, is it my fault? Should I have given it more time in the airport, for example? But
Sure.
no, they had ample time. It's just bad luck.
You see, that's interesting because it shows me that you care. Basel, we're going to come back and talk more in a moment. This is Mira Business FM.
You're listening to Mira Business FM. Mira Business FM.
This is Mira Business FM. My name's Tim Elliott. I'm in for Inzamam Rashid. This week, he's away just for a couple of weeks, and we're talking travel. How to do travel best is kind of I suppose that's really what I'm trying to get to. UTravel has been a leading travel agency here in Dubai for some time. They do both, personal and corporate travel. Basel Abu Alrub is the managing partner, and he is still with me. Basel, one of the questions before the break I was thinking of, and I kind of omitted to ask you, really, so I apologize. But what led you to do this? You've been doing this for a long time now. You're not an old man. That doesn't come out as a compliment as it did in my head, but you know what I mean. You've done this, obviously, since you were young. Your experience has grown over the 20 years. But what made you decide, right, I'm going to become the travel guy?
We've traveled quite a bit when we were after university, and by we, I mean me and my older brother Nabil, who is my partner, my business partner. Okay. And I was actually a banker for a few years before I left the industry. So I did quite a bit of travel for business as well, corporate travel, what people in the banking industry call a roadshow. Okay. When you go and you meet a bunch of clients across multiple cities. Mm-hmm. So a lot of travel, a lot of hotels, a lot of visas required, and a lot of chauffeuring. Right. My brother was a business consultant, before he also left the industry, and we joined forces and we built this thing because we've experienced we had a lot of negative experiences traveling, whether for personal, with travel agents that have booked us holidays that were not suitable for our profile. Okay. They made mistakes. So we felt cheated in a way, or let's say they were trying to push a certain product on us, not to our benefit, but maybe to their benefit. Whether it's the wrong kind of hotel that has the wrong type of clients that are not similar to our vibe. I mean, there are certain packages out there in the industry that are pushed, and that I guess there are commissions paid, and those are the kinds of things. I mean that. So the agent's definition of luxury could be wildly different than my definition of as a customer of luxury. Yeah. Your definition of luxury could be. My definition of luxury is somebody brings me a cup of tea and says hello, but I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. There are different levels, and that goes back to the personal thing, doesn't it? Exactly. So we need to define what is a good trip for you, and what do you mean by luxury? What do you mean by calm? What do you mean by serenity? What do you mean by culture? And what defines good food for you, for example? Those questions were omitted in my personal experience when we were traveling for our own personal trips. On the corporate side, also the same thing. There was a lot of very painful moments where we missed meetings because the chauffeurs didn't turn up, or we were late to our destination because the driver suddenly realized that his tank is empty and needs to stop at the gas station to fill up the car. And you can imagine the high stress level when you're going to very, very important meetings. And at the time, of course, I was still a very junior banker, but I was traveling with my boss, and you know, the stakes are super high when you're like, you know.
No, I mean, but it's already the case, isn't it? When you're traveling and you don't have the local knowledge that you would have at home, and you don't know the roads, and you don't know the way people drive, and is there going to be a petrol station there, and is the guy going to be able to get to the front door in time? All of that, it mounts up, doesn't it? So I can see exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So we decided to build this thing. So we did not come from the industry.
Right.
We were completely new. We made a lot of mistakes, obviously. But what we wanted to do was just build something that delivers better. So we were travelers, wanderers that wanted to build a better travel experience for our customers. We had, like I said, we had zero knowledge of how the industry worked. So it took us quite a bit of time to get there.
Sometimes you just have to jump in, don't you?
We did. We jumped in with everything we had, you know, whether it's financial or otherwise. And we never gave up. We decided to stick to it no matter what until we turned it around and it became a successful business.
And how was it financially in the early days? If you don't mind me asking, what can you tell me? I mean, it sounds like it wasn't as easy.
Yes, it wasn't as easy, especially also that we were new to Dubai as well. So it's not like we grew up here or anything. We came from Jordan, Canada, like where we lived before. So we didn't have a network even. So everything was literally starting from scratch.
You didn't take the easy route, did you?
No, we came here. I guess you could say we followed the dream, the Emirati dream, and or the Dubai dream, and we did it. But yeah, initially it was very costly. We lost a lot of money. It was hard to build a customer base in the beginning. And mind you, this was still the beginning of social media. It was still coming up. So this was around 2008, 2009. So still, you know, Facebook was very new. Instagram didn't even exist back then. So marketing your business back then was entirely different than now. YouTube was only 5 years old, I think, at that point, if not less. So it was a lot of networking, a lot of door-to-door, a lot of cold calling, and we did all of that ourselves. You know, family and friends, you rely on them a little bit here and there, but they didn't, you know, you should not rely on family and friends when you're setting up a business. That's a big fallacy, at least from my experience. But
it sounds like a lesson that you've learned as well.
A lot of lessons were learned. One of them is, yes, when you build a business or a venture and you put a lot of importance to the family and friends element, you might be setting yourself up for a big disappointment.
The thing is, it's not just financial payback. If there's money involved, there's emotional payback. And I wonder whether emotional payback is quite a lot worse than financial payback in many instances.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. You could be disappointed when you're doing that, emotionally and financially.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about, this is something that you guys mention on your website, that you've developed techniques, you've developed technology over the years to speed processes up and to lower costs. What have you done and how have you done that?
A lot of the technology that we built is on the back end, so our back office or our kitchen, if you will. This allows us to, you know, when we hire consultants, whether it's ticketing or hotel reservations or travel designers, the back-end softwares that we use allows the consultant to focus on the problem rather than worry about dealing with how to pull up pricing and copy-paste it onto an email and make it look pretty. And then you're missing the point, which is how do you solve our customers' problem rather than make an email look pretty or spend a bunch of minutes calculating taxes or getting the fare wrong, for example, and misquoting the client, you know.
Sure, so you're answering questions, aren't you? Rather than, you know, presenting what looks great. You're trying to get to the heart of it.
Exactly. So you focus. So you're not bogged down by the protocol of sending emails and dealing with the very clunky travel technology that is on the back end. We've built softwares that basically speaks to this clunky old school technology that you've seen this you've seen what they click on, like what you're typing on at airports, right?
I have.
It looks like they're coding. It's like technology that is stuck in the 80s and never evolved.
It reminds me of telex technology.
Exactly.
For anybody that remembers the telex,
Exactly.
great as it was, it's old school.
Yes, and it hasn't evolved much. Yeah, the same thing for the hotels. The hotels, their technology is also a bit archaic, but not as much as the airlines. So what we've done is we've built certain softwares that speaks to these clunky technologies, and then on the other side spits out a beautiful kind of quotations and emails, and it does this very, very quickly. So what the ticketing, for example, let's take the ticketing consultant as an example. Instead of worrying about calculating the fares and tabulating the options and the results, they worry about combining the best airfare. They worry about finding the best route for you. They worry about looking at how long is the connections that you're spending. If it's a connecting flight, for example, worrying about how to combine those two tickets in a way which does not make the price go up too much. There's a lot of, it's very complicated on the back end. Getting a complex flight priced up, for example, is not an easy task.
Sure.
I'm not talking about a direct flight from A to B and then back. I'm talking about A to B, B to C. Have you ever went on Expedia, for example, and tried to do a complex like A, B, C, D?
This is why
Most of the time it doesn't work.
This is why I get my son to do it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. No, I find it infuriating, if I'm honest with you. I feel your pain.
yeah, and also sometimes you try to be smart about things and you issue your own, tickets online. Let's say you want to get to Colombia, and then you would issue one ticket on, I don't know, Emirates, let's say, from Dubai to Madrid. So that's one ticket, and then you would issue a separate ticket from Madrid to Bogota, in Colombia, and then you show up to the airport and you realize that the airlines that you issued, the two airlines, Emirates and then I don't know the other airline that you issued to Bogota, they will not pick up your bag from Dubai and drop it off to you in Bogota. You have to pick it up in Madrid, go back to check-in, and do it again.
Right. So
Because it's not on the
that's
same-
to do with code sharing and everything else.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
I mean,
okay.
number one, it's if the airlines don't have an agreement between each other, then they will not handle each other's luggages.
Right.
Number two, if the tickets are not issued on the same document, if they're issued two separate tickets, then also you will not be able to get your luggage.
Okay.
All the way through.
See, it sounds like a small thing, but it's not.
It's not, and then
a big deal.
you think you saved a couple of bucks by not by issuing two separate tickets, but essentially you're gonna miss your flight.
You've made
Or
your
you-
life harder.
or you're gonna miss your luggage,
Yeah. Okay.
and see you later.
We've all been through that. I bet there's some people who've experienced luggage issues. Okay, so that's a little bit about the technology that you're doing. How have you managed to lower costs for people? Because we're all cost conscious. We live in an expensive time. We always do live in an expensive time. But how have you managed to do that over the years?
Yes, well, going back to this example of the missed luggage, isn't that a cost that you're going to incur by, let's say, you realized that your luggage is not going to go all the way through to Bogota.
Right.
That means that you have to pick up your luggage in Madrid and recheck in to the next flight. Chances are you haven't factored that in originally when you booked the two tickets. So that means that you're going to miss the second leg of your trip, the Madrid to Bogota. So this means that if you missed your flight, that's a no-show. That's already a cost.
Yeah.
You're going to have to rebook your flight again, probably at a very high price if you have availability.
For sure.
Or you might need to go into Madrid city, check into a hotel and fly and drive back again to the airport the next day to your next flight.
Okay.
That's already, like, I'm just doing some basic numbers in my head, and that's already in the thousands of dirhams in cost because of these rebooking and reissuing of your flights. Wouldn't you have preferred to pay a little bit extra? Like, I mean, by a little bit, I mean 100 dirhams extra on top of the...
I have to say, I'm sold. Yeah. Rather than the 5, 6. I mean, to me, that could be tens of thousands of dirhams. And I assume, I guess, like many people, that, when I book a flight and book another flight, and I think the connection's going to work, that the airlines, the airports are all talking to each other. It's all going to be seamless. My baggage will turn up there, fingers crossed, hopefully, and it's all fine. But it's not like that.
It's not like that. And same thing when you're kind of making other assumptions, besides the fact that, airlines are going to pick up my luggage all the way through to my final destination, but also other assumptions like, I have enough time to connect. 45 minutes is more than enough. But you don't know sometimes the transit time between terminals within the airport. And this is not clear from the information that you have presented to you online or from your phone while you're booking your flights. That's another potential huge cost because you're going to end up missing your connection. Another thing is when you book tickets, sometimes you're attracted by a low fare, but little do you know that there's hidden fees. For example, the taxis are not included, or breakfast is not included in the hotel, and these things that you thought are included, but because you didn't read the fine print. Or, for example, if the fare is refundable, or can I change it in case something comes up? And most of the time, things do come up, especially if if you want to, if you end up, if something happens, God forbid, and you end up needing to cancel your entire trip, but oops, your ticket is not refundable. So the 5,000-6,000 dirhams that you just paid for you and your family on a trip is gone.
I think we all fall into that trap these days, Basel, and we've all done it, where you have a phone now that does so much, and we're all photographers. We're all, travel agents in our own way because we can use, the internet. And knowledge is worth paying for, I think, is the short answer, really. Let's talk a little bit about destinations, because there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to ask you for, and we've got probably 7 or 8 minutes to talk. But something like this, I'm a UAE resident. I'm planning a short break over, I don't know, the National Day weekend, for example, or the winter season. What kinds of practical, tips come to mind when I say that sentence?
Well, first thing is obviously eligibility to travel. So if you're planning ahead from now, that's a good idea to check if you have the proper visas, if you have the proper vaccinations, if you have the proper travel documents, insurance, etc.
Is your passport still in date in lots of places? Do you need at least 6 months? Don't you? These kinds of things.
Absolutely.
Right.
Do you have enough pages on your passport for a stamp? That's
Another
also a
good
common
point.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
So these things are, you have to keep those as before you make any kind of decision as to where to travel. Next is how far do you want to travel? How long do you have? If it's a short trip, then it doesn't make sense to fly over, 7-8 hours. That's maximum. But that's if you're really like a risk taker. But if you keep things under 5 hours, that's usually a good. If you're traveling for a couple of days,
is that kind of a ballpark figure? 4 or 5 hours is about the maximum, really. If you're going for a couple of days.
It depends. If you're traveling with a young family, if you're traveling with children, then that's gonna be the maximum. Yeah. But if you're just a solo traveler and you're a young person and you don't really care, then you can do 7. You can fly to London from here. Just do 7-8 hours, no problem.
Okay.
You land there, you do a couple of nights out, and then you come back. You'll be pretty shattered, but
you're a person that lives by the adage "I'll sleep when I'm dead" kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, if what is it that you're looking for? We're just coming out of the summer, so maybe are you craving somewhere cool and chilly and so then, or are you looking for a ski trip, for example? A lot of unusual destinations are now offering some pretty cool stuff. For example, skiing in Georgia is lovely.
I've heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah, personally, I'm not a skier, but I mean, from what I've seen, whether it's clients or friends that love to ski, they come back with all sorts of positive reviews. Lebanon, another destination that is now open. I'm not saying recommending any specific destinations, but there's a lot of out of the box ideas. But keep things simple. I would say do not try to do direct flights as much as you can, because if you're flying for a few nights, then the direct doing connections can increase the duration of your trip overall, and can put you at risk of potentially losing your luggage, and then you'll get it the next day probably. But if you do lose your luggage and you're going for 3 nights, then that's already a third of your trip gone without your stuff.
It's a pain.
It's
Absolutely.
a big pain and a lot of stress.
Yeah.
So keep things simple by doing direct flights as much as you can. And now a lot of options a lot of airlines offer direct flights. Fly Dubai has a fantastic network that goes into small cities that otherwise you had to fly for 8-9 hours to get to. And finally, I would say pack light. A lot of the times we overdo it. We just in case, I'll just take this, I'll just take that.
Yeah.
Whether it's men and women, but you end up not using half the stuff. So pack light, you'll feel better about yourself.
Yeah, do you know there's a lot of truth in that, and if you can do it, go with hand luggage only, I suppose, as well.
Yeah,
quicker.
if you're that type, absolutely. I would love to be one of these people, but I've done it a few times and it feels so liberating. But then after becoming a father, I felt like I needed a lot of stuff. But again, when I get there, I'm like actually really embarrassed by how much stuff I brought. I end up wearing the same T-shirt the whole day. And I have like 20 T-shirts. Why did I do that?
I know. I'm so with you. Where's cool at the moment? Where are you recommending at the moment, if anywhere? What are you looking at? What's popular?
Zanzibar and Sri Lanka are really, really popular.
Sri Lanka's great.
Sri Lanka's beautiful, and
Just great.
Yeah, it's the people, the nature, also the proximity.
Yeah.
The energy on that island is something else. So is Zanzibar. Also, there's a great frequency there, and it probably takes you a couple of days to shake off the Dubai kind of fast-paced frequency that you have built up in your system. But then once you get in the zone, you never want to go back. And a lot of people I've heard of, when they traveled there, they ended up buying land, building hotels, investing there, and living. Yeah.
There's something exotic about Zanzibar. I don't know if that's, as a spice destination, as a hub, back in the day. There's something about it. Sri Lanka, just lovely people as well. In Sri Lanka, I always think.
Yeah. Of course, if you're looking for a quick getaway that is no nonsense, and if you have the budget for it, then the Maldives is
still
cool.
very popular.
Still very popular, and the product there is just insane. Like in
Yeah.
terms of privacy, in terms of luxury, in terms of the scene that you have.
You mentioned a word earlier, and I thought that's a really interesting phrase for travellers. You said the word serenity, and I guess that's something that Maldives offers in bucket loads.
Yes,
If you want to.
Yes, if you want to be secluded and just be there with your wife or with your family and not see anybody and just spend time in your private villa, on your private pool, on your private beach. And if that's your definition of serenity, absolutely. Yeah. You don't need to pay as much and go to the Maldives for that kind of serenity. Also, you can probably find something like that in Sri Lanka and Zanzibar as well.
Okay.
If you're looking for, but something more affordable. So it depends on what you're looking for. you know.
Yeah, for sure. You're doing that thing again of, I need to get to know you here. And I like that. What destinations are you finding people are more and more interested in? I mean, for example, Saudi Arabia, for example, is really up and coming as a, an opening up of, the heritage sites, for example. Is that starting to move the needle?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Al-Ula.
Exactly.
Yeah, this has been they're really doing a great job attracting all kinds of profiles, from corporate functions to artists to cultural events. There's a lot happening there, and it's historically also it's fascinating that place. Riyadh is Riyadh, obviously. It remains the business capital and the capital of Saudi Arabia, and a lot of people are going there for business. But there's a lot of things in Riyadh that are happening on a cultural level.
There's a lot happening now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jeddah, of course, is also surfacing up.
And then moving around the region, I guess, as well. Look, we could talk for hours and hours
Yes,
about
we can.
where and what and how and why, but it's been a real pleasure to talk to you. Basel Abu Alrub is the managing partner of You Travel. They've been a leading travel agency here in Dubai for 20 years. Basel, great talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you, Tim.
appreciate you
Thank you.
coming.